Let's explore the natural sources properties. We're looking at a simple raw material, citral, and now we're going to take a look at the natural sources properties and make some changes. So we select the natural sources property group and we can see the properties that initially exist. The NAT property is a property from which others are calculated. So here we select NAT, we can make a change to the information there by selecting the property value of NAT1, so relating it to natural. We can also go on to add some other properties. So here we can add, for example, that it's natural lemon. So if it was citral from a lemon source, this would be a useful thing to know about. So we're saying the property values is 100% from natural lemon. Now let's see what happens when we press calculate now. This function recalculates all the properties that are possible for the raw material, usually several hundred. We have a successful calculation and isNat1 is now calculated to be yes. Let's save this raw material and go on to use it in adding a new formulation. So we can go on to add a new formulation in the usual way and save the formulation header details, and then we can start to add raw materials. We'll add a simple formulation using raw materials where the NAT values have already been specified. So we've picked up some lemon oil, lime oil, note that the NAT value is actually coming up. This is because I've customised my screen to show these values. Now citral, as we just modified, and then PG, propylene glycol. Note that I was able to make use of the short name, the abbreviation, and that's coming up as adjuvant. A nice short simple formulation that we'll save and check in. Save and check in, as well as saving, it actually calculates all the properties that are possible for the formulation. Let's view the formulation so we can take a look at the properties. Any hazards for the formulation, as well as the natural sources, will be calculated according to the information attached to the raw materials. Let's take a look. So we're focusing on the natural sources, and you can see different raw materials have added to the properties that exist, so the natural 1%, the adjuvant percentage, and also the percentage of natural lime and natural lemon that are present. These properties have all been calculated based on the formulation. Let's take a look again at that formulation. There are different ways we can access the property values for raw materials used in formulations, as well as the formulation itself. For example, there are composition properties. These belong to the formulation, and we can also customise the screen to show properties that belong to the raw materials in the formulation. So for example, we can select the natural lemon property, save it as a default, or just save it if you don't want it to be your default format, and then up pops the properties. So you can see here that both lemon oil and citral are 100% natural lemon. So natural sources are a really useful way of defining the properties of raw materials. They also are great because they automatically calculate the values of formulations, and in addition, find matching items allows you to find products which match natural sources criteria. In common with other properties, you can modify existing ones and add new ones. For further information, please look at the help in the application or check out the website.